Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for considering my application to the SNF Global Center Research Fellowship. My name is Jorge Cuartas. I am a Colombian researcher, and my work focuses on understanding how violence and adversity shape child and adolescent mental health and development, and how scalable interventions can support families and prevent violence across the life course in order to promote positive mental health trajectories. Today, I will share both my professional trajectory and my proposed research project, which is tentatively titled Apapacho, a Parenting and Mental Health Initiative Embedded Within Government Systems in Colombia. So let me share a little bit about my background. Because my trajectory has been deeply interdisciplinary and internationally oriented. I completed my PhD in Education and Human Development at Harvard in 2024. After that, I began working as an assistant professor of applied psychology at New York University. But now I'm about to make a very significant transition, professional transition, joining Universidad de los Andes in my home country, Colombia, as an associate professor of economics and psychology. This was not an easy decision to make. As you may know, NYU is a wonderful institution, and I feel extremely lucky and privileged to be part of it. But in my long-term vision, my long-term career ambitions and personal goals, I envision myself as a global leader who is based in Colombia and can lead not only my country, but also the world in terms of research related to child and adolescent mental health development, and as well as programmatic and policy initiatives. It is because of this that I am especially excited about the SNF Global Center Research Fellowship, because it positions mental health innovation, programmatic work, and policies as critical and at the center of attention. This fellowship comes in a pivotal moment in my career as I transition to this new challenge and opportunity at Universidad de los Andes. So I think that it would be critical for me to expand my research, to expand the reach and impact of my work, and also, given that the fellowship is so interdisciplinary, globally oriented, and translational in its approach, it truly aligns with both my research goals and my commitment to producing actionable science that leads to meaningful policy and practice transformations that benefit child and adolescent mental health. So, this is why I'm so excited about the fellowship. My work and the proposal for the fellowship is inspired and motivated by a long line of research and evidence showing how physical punishment, psychological aggression, and other forms of violence within the family system can affect the mental health trajectories of children and adolescents. We know from our research that this is true in Colombia, in other low and middle income countries, and around the world. And we also have clues showing potential mechanisms. We have identified, for example, that violence within the family system can lead to changes in brain functioning, structure, and development, which may underlie some of the effects that we tend to see on depression, anxiety, PTSD, and other risks related to mental health as a result of this violence within the home. In addition to this, Colombia is a really interesting setting, and a lot of things have been going on over the last couple of years. So I want to share a little bit about that policy context. In Colombia, we know that violence and poor mental health are deeply intertwined. Colombia has faced the devastating consequences of decades of civil conflict, and also we have in my country a high prevalence of violence against children and adolescents in the home. And in a lot of cases, that violence, according to our evidence, increases the risk for mental health challenges and also for aggressive behaviors that in a lot of cases also increase the risk for these children and adolescents to engage in violence and to further reinforce cycles of violence and poor mental health in my country. Luckily, there have been a lot of policy advances in this topic. So we have things like the prohibition of physical punishment, also a national mental health policy, and a socio-emotional law. But despite this, there's a lack of scalable systems integrated solutions that target both violence prevention and the promotion of child and adolescent mental health. And this is actually something that we identified in research, but that was also identified by the national government, given that they made a very explicit call in the national strategy to preventing violence against children in 2021 for new programs and strategies in this topic that can be scaled by 2030. So it is exactly within this policy landscape that I launched in 2021 a research practice partnership between academia, the national government, in particular the National Institute of Child and Family Policy, and multiple other partners in order to respond to these policy calls. In this partnership, we developed a Papacho, which so far is an early childhood parenting and mental health program embedded in government systems. A Papacho seeks to promote the full positive mental health of children and adolescents, also to promote relationships based on shared responsibility and equity, and also to prevent violence in the home against children and between caregivers. So far, we have conducted multiple implementations of Apapacho in early childhood. We conducted a randomized trial in 4 cities with about 2,400 caregivers and children, and the national government has adopted the program quite a lot, to the point that they implemented in 2025 in 2 departments of Colombia, Boyacá and Atlántico, and most importantly, they included Apapacho in their operational manuals, making Apapacho a national policy, something that different teams around the country can implement in order to support the prevention of violence against young children, therefore creating an enabling policy and service environment for the work that we are doing. So with this exciting progress that we have made so far in Colombia and in partnership, my goal for the SNF Global Center Research Fellowship is to expand this research in order to include violence prevention work and mental health promotion work with older children and adolescents. I'm proposing 4 aims for the fellowship. The first one is to develop and adapt a papacho for children and adolescents through participatory systems integrated design, building on top of the work that we have been doing in early childhood. The second objective is to evaluate the effectiveness of a papacho using rigorous experimental methods. The third one is to identify mechanisms and conditions for successful implementation and scale within government systems. This in order to ensure that we achieve systems level change and adoption of the program by governments. And then we hope to translate these findings into actionable, scalable policy guidance that can be helpful to Colombia, but also to other regional stakeholders and to other people in low and middle income countries. I'm proposing for the project 3 phases. I'm hoping to develop the project between 2026 and 2031. The first phase will be formative research. So I'm hoping to build a research team for the fellowship, including a postdoc, a research assistant, and others. I'm also hoping to work on IRB approval at Universidad de los Andes in this moment. Then I'm hoping to collect extensive qualitative research to inform the adaptation of a papacho for children and adolescents, and then to use such information and to continue working in the partnership that I'm leading with the government and NGOs to adapt programmatic materials based on that evidence. Some outputs of this initial phase will include to present findings at an international conference and then to submit a paper for a peer-reviewed journal to publish it open access. The second phase of the project will go between 2028 and 2031 and will include the implementation and evaluation side of things. So I'm hoping to pre-register the plan for the program to develop monitoring and evaluating outcomes and measurement instruments, also to conduct the randomized trial and program implementation with about 500 participants, and then to present at a conference and submit again a paper. And finally, in 2031, I hope to engage in phase 3, which will include the dissemination and impact with activities such as drafting a policy memo, a high-level meeting, and other dissemination activities. This project will follow very significant ethical and data sharing principles. So all of this will be in the framework of an IRB approval by Universidad de los Andes, but also through the strong partnership with the government to ensure policy and cultural relevance. And then I'm hoping to publish open access papers to share the data, de-identified data in the OSF, and then also to share totally open access the measurement tools and program materials, such as we have done in the past with the rest of material that we have produced in Apapacho. You can find all of these open access in our website. So to conclude, the SNF Global Center Research Fellowship will provide a unique opportunity to strengthen my trajectory as a global leader in research on child development and adolescent mental health and development, while also directly informing policy and practice to achieve transformational impacts for children and families in Colombia, but also in South America, Latin America, and around the world. This is a wonderful opportunity for me, and I thank you very much for your consideration. I would be honored to contribute to and learn from the SNF Global Center community. Thank you very much.